Hello there beautiful humans, my name is RidersDX. Welcome to my channel where today we've got some juicy details about the also alleged Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2 game that's supposedly in development. At this point I feel like there's just too much talk about this game at this point that I feel like it has to be real. Like it just feels like there's too much stuff coming out, there's too many details being like tied back to the game, there's too much stuff that just looks somewhat convincing that it has to be real. It has to be at this point. And so what I wanted to talk about today actually is a couple of things. I did like show off some like leaked box art of this game in a few videos back, and I've been constantly referring to it ever since, but there's also been a couple of screenshots that have come from the game, and I'll be honest, when I saw the first one I didn't really believe it. It looked a little fake to me, but now we recently got another one that is starting to make me realize might be true, and the reason for that is because of another thing that was posted by someone else. And so before I get into all that, let me just try to like straighten out like the chain of events that have occurred over here. And so the first thing I'm going to talk about is this tweet that came from a very interesting figure, and that is Jorge Gutierrez. That name is probably not going to sound familiar to you unless you're a huge Nickelodeon fan, but Jorge is actually the co-creator of Tigre, which was a short-lived Nickelodeon show. He recently did a like Q&A on his Instagram, and he posted this in response to a fan asking if there were any plans for the franchise afterwards, and he responded, "An art of book is coming, and maybe Tigre characters coming to a certain fighting Nick game, and maybe when I one day leave Netflix he could return, who knows." Obviously there's a lot of tea there for the franchise that if you're a fan of Tigre, then that's definitely really exciting news for you, but a certain fighting Nick game, like I think this is like the first time I've actually heard like an official-ish figure like actually somewhat allude to this game existing. This already is just so much more proof that we have that this game is actually a real thing than anything we've had so far. This is really fascinating because he's basically confirming that there might be multiple characters coming from this show being in Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2. Now that does mean that the last video I made on this game where I talked about a certain leak from 4chan is probably not true now, because it didn't mention Tigre. I mean, it still could be true, but they did say 15 characters specifically, and this guy was not on the list, and so that leak is definitely not looking as likely right now. However, I will say that like let's keep an eye on it in the future. Maybe it will turn out to be right in some way, but it's not looking likely. Now another thing that really does support the fact that Tigre is going to be in this game is something that a viewer actually brought to my attention, and so this viewer is CartoonFan18. I've talked to this person a few times actually throughout my YouTube channel career, and then they messaged me this Discord message saying someone on Reddit just gave us another Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2 leak, now confirming Tigre to the game. And so let's take a look at the screenshot over here that we saw, which was on Reddit, and you can see Tigre is attacking Garfield over here in this like test stage like environment. It looks like a picture that was taken of a television screen. It doesn't look like an in-game screenshot. This is even more fascinating because this is coming to further cement that like what the creator was saying is somewhat true, that this character is going to be in this game, which is exciting because, you know, one thing that I mentioned about the list I talked about in my previous video about that leak that I'm starting to realize is not actually true is the fact that I wish there were more like unique Nickelodeon franchises that have not been represented yet being included in this game, and Tigre is one of those franchises that did not get any representation in the first game. So it's telling me that like we may be seeing some more offshoot choices, some more unique franchises getting their chance to be in this game, and that's great because Nickelodeon All Star Brawl should be a celebration of Nickelodeon franchises. It shouldn't be just limited to like a select few like SpongeBob, The Loud House, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, etc. It should represent a whole collective of Nickelodeon franchises, and even those that are not really active anymore, because if anything I feel like this game has a great opportunity to reignite interest in a bunch of franchises. Tigre could be one of those franchises. Now the screenshot does look interesting, and it looks like he has some kind of claw attack that he can use to like reach out to players, and so it looks like this guy will have a little bit of a range attack, which is really useful from what I can tell. Now I mentioned earlier in this video that there was an earlier screenshot that leaked that I honestly did not believe was real. That's why I didn't talk about it, but after a few YouTube comments saying that like it actually is likely real, and after this screenshot in particular, I am a little bit more obligated to think that there might be some truth to this. And so let's go ahead and show off the previous screenshot that leaked. This is a screenshot of Danny Phantom with a sword. Now the first reason that I thought this wasn't real was because Danny Phantom doesn't usually use a sword, so I was a little confused as to why he had one. But But then I realized that there actually is an episode in Danny Phantom where he does yield a sword. I don't remember what the context of that episode is, but it is something that does exist in the show, and so that definitely does not completely mean that that's not something that Danny can do. I mean, it doesn't have that green ooze all over it like it's supposed to, but then again, Danny doesn't have that green ooze over him either, and so maybe that's why. Or maybe this is again an early screenshot, because this is the same stage that you can see in the screenshot from the update screenshot with El Tigre, that same like test stage like environment. I'm just like, if this is fake, someone's going through a lot of effort to make this fake, you know? Someone's going through a lot of effort to convince us that this game is a thing with these screenshots, because they had to not only port over like the Danny Phantom model from Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2, but they made a custom El Tigre model. Now, I'm not aware of El Tigre having any 3D games or any kind of like presence in a 3D game in general. If this person really is faking this and they made a separate model for El Tigre and set up this shot of him attacking Garfield like this, like, come on, at this point, it's just petty. It's just completely petty to fake something like this. I'm starting to believe that these screenshots are actually real and that these are first looks at Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2, which just makes that much more exciting to me. Like, Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2 really is something that could be coming, and it looks like they're going to be adding so much more new content to it, and I'm just like really curious to see where this goes from here. With all that being said, this game is leaking like wildfire now. We just get something new where I feel like every single day. Let me know what you think about these screenshots in the comment section below. Are you excited about this? Are you not excited? Let me know why or why not, and give me some predictions. What else do you think is going to be in this game, and when do you think we'll actually get an announcement for it? I'm really curious to see what Game Mill Entertainment does soon, because they just announced the Avatar game. Maybe they want to space out their announcements a little bit, especially if this game is not coming out till 2024, but I digress. This game definitely seems like a real thing now, and I'm truly excited to see what's coming next. And so please subscribe to this channel if you want to stay up to date with Nickelodeon All Star Brawl 2 news. Anytime we get a new update, I'm gonna talk about it, as you see right here. So feel free to subscribe if you want to stay up to date with the news. But alright, y'all, thank you so much. This is Riders, riding out.